Some of you might remember a couple of videos from over a year back where I built this same model into a replica of my 1-to-1 back then. Someone saw the video, contacted me if I could replicate his. I said yes, we agreed on a price, and I started to work. Now the first steps are just to remove it from the box and strip all the plastic parts off it so I can remove the paint and repaint it. After removing the screws, the chassis and interior, it was onto a bit more work, removing the glass. Now these are riveted in, so I drilled out the rivets and then removed the glass pieces and cut off some other tabs that are molten to the body so I can remove some other parts as well. With all those plastic pieces now removed from the body, I can strip the body back to bare metal. I'm just going to use some regular paint stripper for this. This is Zero Paints branded, but it's nothing really special. This only works on metal die-cast models. It doesn't work on plastic. Well, it does, but you will also lose all the plastic, so don't really have anything left afterwards. So just be sure to only use this on die-cast parts. After you've finished applying the paint stripper, just put it into some water, as water will deactivate the paint stripper. You will remove all the paint that come loose from the body and maybe even need to retouch a couple of areas, as it doesn't really affect everything at once sometimes. And if you're happy with that, just wash it off and move on to the next stage. Now in this case, the next stage is just scuffing up the body, making it a bit cleaner, removing a couple of the mold lines and some paint that might have been left in some of the panel lines or deeper areas, and generally just scuff it up with some 400 or 600 grit in order to get it ready for some primer. After scuffing it up and making sure all the panel lines are nice and clean, you can either wash it with some soapy water and dishwashing soap to degrease it, or just leave it as is. That's totally up to you. After washing it off, I moved on to clamping it on my Tamiya spray stand and applying 2 light coats of Tamiya spray can primer, as this is also suitable for metal. Now I heated the spray can before I used it to up the pressure and make the mist a bit finer, giving it a really nice and clean coat of primer that didn't really need any retouching afterward. After that, I just let it dry for a couple of hours and moved on to applying a couple of light coats of Volkswagen Candy White, as that is the real color on the actual one-to-one car I am replicating here. First off, I'm just blowing over all the edges and tight areas, making sure that all the dust is off, and then start applying a light first coat. With the first coat now applied, I set it aside for 5 to 10 minutes to dry off in between coats, moved on to a second coat, a bit heavier but still keeping it light to make sure that I don't fill up any of the panel lines and make a mess out of the total paint job. Just like the first coat, let it flash off for about 5 to 10 minutes and move on to the third and final coat of color. Apply it the same way the second coat, a bit thicker than the first, but still not very thick, just trying to cover what is there and being careful not to mess it up. Now that I'm happy about the way that the color looks on this model, I let it sit for about 30 minutes, mixed up my 2K diamond clear, and applied 2 coats of the clear to make it fully shine. Now I only let one piece of the footage in, as the second coat still you can't see anything, so I thought this was good enough. You get the point, and let's move on to the next part.